Almost very almost end of it. Well,
No, you don't read that. You have.
You just
That's why you
signed
brought the original.
I was complimenting you.
You don't.
You couldn't have been. Actually, I'm gonna call you Pinocchio.
the only one that we picked.
I said I took a tour and it was.
Oh, yeah, the teeth almost.
Yeah, I didn't go back down there. Ain't bad. I will.
Wednesday. We'll be done. I did find a structural failure.
It's nice.
It's today in the middle of the there's a truss member that's busted to the top disconnect.
When you're good.
Very good. I said, what we did.
Yeah.
No, good.
So bad.
I know, a lot of people forget to. Don't believe it's longer.
Yeah.
A lot of them forget to put the key number that we get a. Other than that.
Even very, yeah.
It's just like.
Good evening and welcome to the Monday, June 10th meeting of the monthly meeting of the City of Shoreacres City Council. Ms. Goodman, will you call the roll, please?
Yes, sir. Mayor,
Present.
Pro Tem Mayor McCollum,
Present.
Alderwoman Ramos. Present. Alderman Grayson,
Present.
Alderman Hopkins,
Present.
and Alderman Bell.
Present. And we have a quorum. Will you join me in the belief? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And the Texas flag, under the Texas flag, I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible. All right. Thank you guys for coming out this evening. We are going to rearrange we're going to do the oath of office first, and then we'll get to item 3.1. So, Ms. Goodman, Mr. Greason, and Mr. Bell. You have to be sworn in, sir.
We're following.
You know, that's what you gotta say, okay? Right, right.
We're standing here.
You got your back to her. Yeah,
I'm trying to stay out of the way here. Let me get over here by you.
yeah, come on, Paul. That way you can see her. All right. Great.
In the name and by the authority of the state of Texas, I
David Jennings,
West Bill.
do solemnly swear or affirm that I will faithfully execute the duties of the office of mayor,
The office of Alderman.
of the city of Shoreacres of the state of Texas, and will to the best of my ability preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution and laws of the United States and of this state. So help me God. We are sworn in. We can now continue.
People read off. Thanks, guys. Good job. Gets to swear in.
Practice.
Congratulations, Liz.
Now, we'll go back to item 3.1. Item 3.0 is special presentation. We do have a special presentation this evening. Item 3.1 is Ingenia Polymers regarding the possible purchase lease, something to do with land. And so, Mr. Harrison, would you introduce your guest, please?
Yes, sir. So for several months, we've been talking, these gentlemen represent a company that we already do business with them in a way because we accept their sewer. They're our only commercial account in sewer. They've had that relationship for many years. They're located right across the railroad tracks here, and you access them from McCabe Road. They have a McCabe Road address, but they're wanting to look at some ideals to alleviate train traffic over Choate Road and to have more storage for their own rail cars. I don't know if it's going to work or not, but I told them we'd get them before council and let them give you their plea and see what you thought about it afterwards. So there's John. I can't pronounce his last name. I'm not going to try.
John Result.
Come on up.
And council, there is no business on the schedule tonight, so no votes or anything like that. We're just listening, and there may be something in the future.
Great. Thank you.
So Ingenia Polymers, I don't know if you've heard of us before.
No base or chemical?
I'm sorry?
No base or chemical?
That's it. It's the old Bayshore Chem. So Ingenia Polymers is a global company, privately owned. Anything that you use that's plastic polyolefins in North America is probably has some pixie dust from Ingenia Polymers in it. Plastic bags, durable, even car polymers, car plastics are possibly have something from us. We purchased Bayshore in March of 2020, just at the peak of activity for COVID. So we had nowhere to go but get better. It's a family-owned company. It was founded by a gentleman named John Leffes, with a ExxonMobil heritage. Started it in the 80s in Canada and expanded all over the world. He's lived in Houston for a while, and his son is now the CEO of the company. He also lives in Houston. So even though it's a global company, Houston has been the sort of the new center of excellence for Ingenia. We hope to improve the plant from the heritage Bayshore, Schulman, whatever. And we want to do that with close cooperation with our neighbors, the cities, with LaPorte, Shoreacres. And we're in a bind there, kind of landlocked. We depend on UP to switch our yard. So we've come up with different ways to fix it up. If I may, I'll go up to the board so they can walk me through it. So our site is shown inside the blue. Okay. And we're trying to clean up the site, modernize it, and get ready for the next generation of plastics recycling and environmental protection. Our yard, as you can see it here, it has two turnouts, and all the cars are switched by United Pacific, by UP, and they switch our cars daily, every afternoon. That's the tradition from Bayshore. They go back onto what this is called the Seabrook Industrial line. They go out here and switch cars back and forth. So we are tied to relying on UP to switch us, and the industrial line is blocked. Now up here, there's a huge yard, the Rail Logic's yard, and they have an interest to help us switch it. Well, so one suggestion to allow to switch the cars off the main line and not block it is to actually have what is called a tail track over here. Now, this is your land here. And if we go to the next slide, please. We are designing different upgrades to the yard to simplify our rail car switching and improve safety as well as ease traffic congestion. The improvement is to get a tail track in to allow us for in-yard switching instead of the main line switching. And we're looking to see if we can get some land from you to use, not necessarily to buy, but if that's an option, that we're open to entertain any arrangements that you wish to have, so that we can do that. Next one has more details. So the green that you see here is the modifications that we can make to extend a short line. We're showing this line only within Shoreacres property, just north of the pumping station. Oh, sorry, west of the pumping station. And that will allow us to bring cars in, back them up here, and then be able to switch them on any line that we want without going up. That's really the deal. It's very simple, but it has a tremendous impact on the operation of our yard and the impact that rail movements have on the traffic in the area.
So you're gonna have your own engine and be able to switch
No,
without
actually-
UP, or UP is going to do it?
Good question. We have an option to continue having UP. We have a good contract with UP and great relationships. In fact, we've discussed this with them and they're like, wow, this is what we need. But we also have the option to have rail logic from the north here. Have our cars delivered straight to them and only get them from there when we need them. And not take them out to the main, to the industrial line at all, bring them straight down here and switch them. And then take them back and UP can pick them up from there. That's what we have.
It would allow you to avoid the main line,
Yes, sir.
which in turn would open up Choate Road every once in a while.
Well, I go across Choate Road when I go home.
Yeah.
And I normally leave late, so after the rail movements are done.
It's your company that's walking off that Choate Road with your,
Not just us,
not just you, but
yeah.
how much would you estimate that would cut down on getting Choate Road continually open?
Certainly our cars would disappear from that. And I think that the overall cooperation with rail logics is really going to help. Something that remains is another turnout that is back here that goes to the west. And that's typically the one that gets in the way. So whatever they do, we can't affect.
Right.
Something else that you should know, that I don't know if you knew about the meeting that was a week ago today at LaPorte, talk about truck traffic and how that is going to work out with 16th Street congestion and the new meter on 146.
Right.
So we're looking actually to help with that and try to get truck traffic. We only have about 15 trucks a day. But we're looking to cut that in half by having one-way traffic through our facility and get back out here without getting mixed up. That's a text thought idea that we're dealing with.
And how wide a strip of land are you looking for?
So there is a standard width allowance that we have on each side. I think it's shown on the next drawing, if we may switch it over. This one was the original suggestion that we got from our rail consultant. It goes beyond what we show on the previous drawing, goes into the text dot. And we don't know what's under here, what obstructions, underground obstructions are and whatnot. And I think that your sewer line, your first main is within that crosshatch. To scale, this is about 25, 30 feet wide.
Yeah.
I think it's about 25, 10 feet each side, yeah. And
It basically touches our egress to the plant, but doesn't go over.
this picture is not feasible as far as we know right now, until we get a survey and get the grounds and talk to TxDOT. Maybe TxDOT doesn't want to do this. It would certainly, that would be the ultimate solution. And we can see what we'd like to hear from you today is, okay, it's not a bad idea. Why don't you go ahead and do the study and we'll work together to see what we can accomplish.
Well, we can't vote on anything or tell you anything like that, but I'll get with Mr. Harrison offline and we'll discuss it and
Yeah.
we'll get a pretty good feeling for the will of the council tonight.
The road, access road now over to the lift station, so you would just move it, say to the east.
That's their
put it
ultimate.
back in, or?
Yeah, so the previous drawing, we're not going to get into the road at all. We'll stop short of the road.
Okay, so that's the way you plan now.
This is staying with 100% within Shoreacres property. Our property limit is here. Okay, and we both share a neighbor here, which is TxDOT. So all we can do tonight is talk about this part. And if we decide to go forward with this suggestion and do the studies, we can talk to TxDOT and see what else can be done further down. That road, if we go with the line going further down, would be relocated in parallel.
Right, so we'd have access back to the.
Absolutely, absolutely. And certainly, in the future, if you would like to, our road is very close to this. You can see we have a road here that goes on this side of on the south side, or the east side of the track. If you would like to access the property from there, because there's a train on the other side, there's no problem going through our property to access it by our arrangements. So our intention is to open things up to close them down.
Ms. Ramos, you have anything?
How far off is it gonna be from our lift station? Cause I worry about the constant vibration of the rail cars. When the ground dries, everything shifts, so we may lose the connection to that lift station over time due to vibration.
That's a very good question. So the fast trains that create vibration are on the red line. Okay. This line here is just pushing the cars along. It's a dead end. They're not going to be crashing cars. They're going to be pushing them to the end and then picking them up and taking them to others. So, but certainly our engineering study, I've been talking to Mr. Harrison to see if he can get some drawings of where the sewer lines are, so that we can consider their location and do the appropriate calculations and studies to address the issue that you brought up. So, good comment.
Yeah. Mr. McCown?
I got nothing.
Mr. Greason? Mr. Hoskins?
I'm good. I'm fine.
Mr. Bell?
Fine.
No question.
Wait,
No additional questions.
I have a question. Where's that lift station? I can point it on the map. Is it right there? Okay.
Okay, do you have anything else to contribute?
That's it. What I would like to do is thank you for having us here tonight. And,
Oh, you're very welcome. Good to meet you.
and it's a good way to meet the neighbors.
Absolutely.
We appreciate Mr. Harrison's efforts to see what we're doing. Whatever happens with this is one thing, but we'll continue to be neighbors.
Good.
Please let us know if there's any objections to us continuing spending money on the use.
Oh, sure.
Examining-
But we won't let you waste any money. We're not about that.
Okay,
Don't worry. All right.
excellent. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you.
Thank
All right. Moving on, item 4.0, council reports and requests. An opportunity for council members to share community news. Mr. McCown?
The yacht club, if you haven't seen it lately, they've added probably $60,000 to $70,000 worth of new courts. They're going to have the bocce ball and pickle, whatever, pickle tennis or pickle, I don't know, but
Pickleball, man.
they're going to have that. So they're in the process of finishing and it really looks nice.
Ms. Rollins?
I'm good.
Mr. Grease?
The only thing I have is, that Shoreacres circle down there. Again, the tree that's really on the county property down there. It's about to fall down.
Oh, that'll be for Troy.
Troy, I just wonder if Troy's looked at it, he's called the county, but they haven't really done anything. Maybe we need a letter from the city saying this is a liability because it's hanging over the road.
Okay, we can talk about that when Troy gets up. Mr. Hoskins.
Mr. Bell?
I've got a question about the bench that was installed there by the pier in memory of Chuck Hayes.
Yes, sir.
That was probably about a month ago.
I don't know, Troy did it.
Oh, and
You had Ray do it.
it's still wrapped in a blue tarp and it still has caution tape around it. And people are sitting there reading a book and have caution tape around them. And
We were trying to time it with the weather. It was difficult, but we were trying to arrange it so Miss Hayes could be there at the time of the dedication and not do it without her, obviously. And she wants to be there. I've talked to her 2 times but I haven't been able to get a time that's good for her. That we thought about doing it before a council meeting so we could go straight from there to here or leave here and go there or something. But we're just trying to get it done with her there.
Durrani is helping with interfacing with.
okay, well, I didn't know what the plans were, the timeline.
I didn't think it was.
Ceremony.
Yeah, I didn't think it was going to draw on like this. I was planning on having it up and maybe the next week doing something, but it just with weather and everything else, it's been.
If she has a time that's available, like after a certain hour, I'm sure we could all gather, you know, and it not be on a city council.
Yeah, I think we'll end up doing it on like a Saturday morning or something. And just, we'll have the pier guys involved and, you know, and it'll be really nice. Like I said, Mr. Durrani is helping, he knows her rather well.
Okay,
All right, is that it, Wes?
that's it.
All right. All right, moving on. Item 5.1. This is the opportunity for members of the public to address council. Time is limited to 5 minutes per speaker, and comments are to be directed to city council, and dialogue is not permitted if it's not on the agenda. So we'll just start, we'll start from the end. Anything?
I don't have anything.
Ms. Becker?
I don't have anything. Mr. Bell already addressed my question. Thank you.
Oh, Ms. Mara?
Yes, I wanted to talk.
Get up to the podium and tell us your name and.
Okay, I'm Mary Beth Mayer and I lived in Shoreacres about 30 years. I live in Seabrook, just moved there.
Now, if y'all don't know Mary Beth, she's the one that we had the dedication for a year ago. She couldn't make it, but the certificate of appreciation for all of her work with Heron Park and other things in the city.
And I thank you for letting Friends of Heron Park take care of the park. And last year we spent about $2,300 there. This year we've already spent $2,900. We keep the trails up. We do all the trimming, all the adding of granite. This year, the city council helped us with redoing the observation deck, and they paid half of that. I just wanted to ask you, could we ever have a sign that's had an arrow pointing to Heron Park? Because Armand Bio and a lot of organizations around here prize that park. They come and have tours there and everything, and wonder if that's ever possible, or are you waiting for Friends of Heron Park to pay for a sign or what?
What type of sign are you looking for? Like on Shoreacres Boulevard pointing toward it?
No one even knows where, I mean, I don't even know if y'all have ever been there before.
I go there most every day.
So Nancy Edmonds and I started it in 2002, and she's moved to Seabrook, and so Mary Becker is on the board, and David is one of our consultants, and we try to keep it really nice. And so a sign would be great. And let's see, I had this report, and if y'all have any questions, you can call me or any suggestions.
Thank you so much, and thank you for all you do.
Are you just talking about one sign?
Well, yes, because
One
people
direction
like
or two
native,
directions? or something?
any native plants, Armand Bio, everybody comes and they don't have a clue where to go. Yeah, so when you get off of New 146, it would be nice to have a sign going down by the bio, pointing that way. And
See what I can do.
thank you.
Yeah. Mr. Williams? Mr. Plant?
Want to give you guys an update from here?
All right. Step up.
All right. If these guys will give you a post, I'll buy your signs. I'll buy your signs.
Wait, what do they have to do?
If they give me a place to put the signs, I'll buy your signs and give them installed. Okay, so I thought I'd give you guys a I'll give you guys a little update on the pier. So Gary Plant, I'm at 3522 Miramar. So this is just like a spur of the moment, thought I'd give you guys an update of what's going on with the pier. Let me start my little clock here so I can kind of manage myself here. So we're nearing the end of our fiscal year for the pier with a positive balance. All the financials are in order, and we did get the 501c7. Everything is good on that department. I do need a new treasurer who's moving up to Humble. So if anybody wants to do treasury for me, that would be awesome. So the pier is about 90% complete. You can walk all the way out to the end very safely, including the tees. The tees should be done completely tomorrow, maybe Wednesday at the very latest. We put about 15,000 pounds of wood out there. Actually, Sunday morning, we moved 8,000 pounds of wood. That guy right And he's an animal. Wes, thank you. It's a lot of work to move wood. I tell you what, it's just a lot of work. We got better access control. We put in a barrier on the south side. We've been having people who invite themselves to trespass. That was fixed yesterday. Membership is as easy as a caveman. I can tell you what, you go up there, you just pop it with QR code. You can sign up. You can even make a donation on our website. It works very easy. We haven't had any issues with it. We did allow this year under our bylaw updates about a year and a half ago when we had financial concerns, is that we allowed for non-Shoreacres members to become a member. They have to pay 2 times the Shoreacres resident fee, and they have to have a Shoreacres resident advocate. And I think we got 4 so far. So it throws another $1,000 into the kitty for us to help maintain it. It's working out pretty good. The Bluetooth control system, I don't know if you've ever seen, there's a little master lock touch pad. It's working perfectly. It works every time. We haven't had any failures of the lock. So I can tell when people open the lock and when they close the lock. So sometimes I'll see a lock that's open. I'll go over there, I'll look at the history, find out who left it unlocked, and I'll have a little conversation with them. And because that's part of you want to abide by the rules, and you lock the gate behind you. I had a couple of ladies that happened to be in there, and they got locked in because somebody didn't lock it and they didn't know how to get out, and I had to unlock it for them. I did give Troy access to both the boat ramp and the pier. He's got an 8-digit code, secret. He's not going to give it to you guys. He's told me. We did give access to Galveston Bay, the Water Quality Sampling Bureau. They've been out there and they take samples now and then. I did get Gary Manuel to agree to put up a Google camera on his domicile at the top corner. So I'm going to live stream that. You guys are going to have access to it. I'm going to pay for the ability to get video for 90 minutes every year. So that's something that you guys can get, but then I'll be able to find out who some of the problem people are. I'm a man of law, so we got to comply with laws around here. So it's getting better every time. Parking lots next. We have a lot of erosion in the parking area, so I want to get that fixed somehow. I'm waiting for $25,000 from Bayport. I didn't get it last year. I applied for grants from Bayport, didn't get it. Hopefully I'll get something from them. If I don't, we're just gonna do without them. We have to do diligence on running people, non-members off the parking lot. And it's just something that's just a daily issue, but we'll get there. So membership's picking up pretty fast. We've already had 50 people apply before the end of the fiscal year. It's popping out there now. I don't know if y'all noticed. And could use another garbage can out there if you can get me one. But that's just a little that was 4 minutes 18 seconds. No, that's it. Just want to let you guys know what's going on. Everything's well, and by the end of the week it'll all be done.
All right, thank you.
Yep.
For the update. Thank you for the work.
Are there any
You're welcome.
bridges out there?
you have any benches out there?
I'm actually having two of them built, two new benches built out there with the wood that we had left over from the pier. We had to put a lot of substructure work, but I'm having benches built. Yep, that was decided this morning, matter of fact. Good.
Mr. Shaw, anything?
I do have something. Good.
All right, my name is Jim Shule. I live at 519 Oakdale Street. And what I really want to do is just thank the city for their responsiveness. We had an incident of pollution that came through and I had reported it. And Troy responded with the LaPorte Emergency Management people that came out and looked. What it is my entire pool, property, cars, everything was covered in a black oily substance. And what I did was I recovered that black oily substance from my pool, and I had a very large bucket of black oil. And then the Harris County Pollution Control came and took the bucket, and I haven't heard a thing since. But I did get online to report the incident because they have an online site that you can get in and report pollution. Now, I can tell you that it covered a pretty wide range. I am sure the city was covered in it and the police station and the cars and everything else, because it was all over my vehicles, you know, my lawn and everything. It was just very evident in the in my pool. And it's, you know, it happens in this city. I believe, if I had to guess, it probably came from a ship's exhaust. If you've ever seen the ships, all of a sudden will let go of a very heavy black substance coming out, probably diesel or whatever. And it was a very heavy, it happened on a Sunday night, early Monday morning, when it was very heavy out, the air was very heavy and the fog was out there. So hopefully I'll hear something from the city, or from the county, but did want to thank Troy for his responsiveness on it. Thank you.
All right. All right. George, anything? Okay.
My name is Mary Becker. I live at 202 Fairfield. And I just wanted to comment about the memorial bench for Chuck Hayes. I wasn't even aware Chuck had passed away. I'm sure a lot of people, because there is no newspaper anymore that you can get this information. And so I'm hoping that when you do have this memorial, that you'll put it on the billboard, but you'll put it on the sign out there to let people know, because there are so many people that he knew, that he talked to every day. He was a resident here for many, many, many years and was interactive with everyone. So I would really appreciate it if you would share
That's
it.
a great guy.
Okay, thank you.
No question.
I'd like to address something very important as it relates to Chuck.
Mention,
Okay.
stand at the podium.
Oh, no, I was gonna mention that,
Aim it at.
after Chuck Case, I'm Barry Plant. Workers will, Miramar. After Chuck passed, I put a posting on our peer Facebook page. And I got a bunch of unbelievable responses from members of the community, tear jerking type of stuff. I've never shared them with his wife, but they're unbelievable. I'd like to figure out, print them out and give them to her, but I didn't want to do it immediately after his passing. But when I gave back to the community, I wrote about Chuck, I gathered much, and the amount of outpouring was pretty impressive. Anyways, when you guys do that, I want to see if we can figure out how to deliver that to her, so I can share that. Whoever's in charge, I don't know who's in charge of this, but it's worth sharing those comments with her. We can read them right off the page, but they're pretty amazing. You could actually go to the Shoreacres Pier webpage and look at what people wrote about Chuck. It's pretty cool.
We have. When I first came up with this idea, council was overwhelmingly in agreement. So no question about it. All right, what do we have now? Moving on, item 6.1, the city manager's report. Mr. Harrison.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mayor and Council. I will read this month's report, actually last month's report for you. These numbers were the position we were in as of the last day of May 2024. Restricted debt, $32,461.32. Utility deposit fund, $94,526.90. Road repair taxes that's held at tax pool, $79,730.44. Represents a total of $206,718.66. You'll remember we repaid Baywood, which took a big chunk of money out of our savings for tax pool there. Unencumbered funds, general fund checking, $162,756.35. Utility fund checking, $71,962.12. Unencumbered funds held at tax pool, which is our other savings, $1,029,998.07, for a total of $1,264,716.40. But I have to tell you that since this report was ran, we have transferred because we had to pay for the latest, not the latest, but the sewer repair before the latest. The latest one wasn't a great big deal. The one before that, council approved the transfer of funds. We've made that transfer now. So that number next month, you'll see fall a little bit. Any questions on that part? Okay, Court. We're still this, Mayor, you usually take the head on this one because you've taken a personal interest in it.
It is my personal interest, and we want to make sure we're not losing money on court. We want to break even. We don't want to make money. We don't want to lose money. So right now, if you'll recall last month, we had a little bit more ahead. But as I told you, it's going to shrink, and even you guys do not have to stay for this, by the way. It's quite okay if you leave. We understand.
We appreciate
Okay.
the permission, but we're getting to know you.
Okay. And
Very important.
and so we have right now we're about 35,000 to the positive, and that's going to continue to shrink. But as long as we don't lose money on court, we're that's our goal. And so that's what we're still monitoring that every month. Oh, we don't write tickets for the city budget, for the record. This is a very positive thing next.
This is, and I mentioned this to you several months ago, but I was hesitant because it wasn't official, but now it's official. We have moved up in our standings to a class 7 in the community rating system. That represents a 15% discount versus a 10% discount for our residents on their flood insurance. There's really, I mean, this is just a savings for our residents. But I also have to mention that the process, this is not a short process. This process took a year almost to do. And one of the things that happens is they come in and they look at our ordinances and they look at our planning and zoning, I mean, not our planning and zoning, but our board of adjustments and things like that to see if we're given variances for things that we're not supposed to allow. And they take a good hard look to make sure that we're following all the rules that we set and that we agree. And by agree, it means you guys vote on it and make it an ordinance. So they're watching out for that. They'll drive through the neighborhood at night to see if there's any TVs on downstairs of some of these elevated houses to see if they've converted living space downstairs, which they're not supposed to. So it's a work in progress. We work hard every 5 years to make sure that we're complying, the city's complying. We do have strict building codes. You guys know that. We adopted in December, I believe, or November, building codes that are uniform throughout the city now. So this is a good thing for our residents, though. It's something for them to be happy about.
Oh, it's a very positive thing, and it was much more than a 1 year process. If you recall, when we first started, almost 6 years ago now, we were in danger of losing our discount altogether. We were at 5%. We were in danger of losing it. We managed to move it up, to correct that. We moved it up to 10, and now in the past about 18 months, we've been able to move it up to a 15% discount. And we hired the right consultants, and Troy's done a lot of work, and the staff upstairs has helped, and council has passed what needed to be passed. And so if you wonder why code enforcement sometimes is stricter than you want it to be, this is why. Everybody would like to build a little shed in their backyard, but that's the danger to this if you do. So that is why we protect that so well.
And I need to give Latney props too, because he's a big part of this too. He's a stickler for building codes and
Anthony Lamb is our building inspector.
yes, sir. And he worked with me through this. He met with these folks a lot to try to explain to them why we did some of the things we did. And it was a very positive relationship that we built with the National Flood Insurance folks.
15% discount is helpful because our flood insurance is so high.
Can I just make a quick comment? 'Cause
Yes.
Just in the last few days, I've been doing, spring cleaning and I found my insurance bill from 2015. And it was about $80,000 less than what I have today. And today, in the last couple of weeks, I just paid my latest one, and it's about $200 to $300 cheaper than what I paid in 2015. And we're now at 2024. So this is really a big deal. I mean, because I didn't even think about it. I thought it's only on 10%. So what? But a lot in insurance. If it bills $4,000, you're now paying what, $3,450, something like that. It's a big thing. I think we need to point out to the citizens, or to have some way of communicating this to them that there's a lot of stuff the city does, and sometimes, we may have to raise property taxes every now and then, but this is the service you get for it. We'll reduce it here for you. And I think it's a big thing.
It definitely is.
Anyway.
Item 6.2, the police report.
All right, you see the police report in front of you. Things stayed consistent throughout the summer for the most part. I think the citation difference was one citation. I think we wrote one less in May than we did in April, but everything else is about the same. You will see the house watches go up. That number 108, what that represents is the number of times the officers actually drove through and looked at a house, threw the spotlight on it, or got out and walked around, or whatever they could do. So it's not 108 houses. It's not 100% of the city. It represents the number of times they've driven around, the same way with the college patrols and the yacht club patrols.
Any questions on police report? Public Works, Mr. Harrison.
And this is a new report. David Sutton was on vacation all last week, so I got this from his assistant, and I didn't really go over with anybody, but Bernie and Miss Anderson and Mr. Sutton's people continue to work to try to make sure these numbers are accurate. We know we're going to have some wasted water through leaks, through flushing, things like that, but we're trying to get those graphs closer together, represent. And we want to sell as much water as we can. Obviously, we don't want it running in the ditches. But we do. Today, we flushed hydrants. I don't know how many gallons it is, but it's not substantial when you look at how many we buy every month, but we know we have some water loss here and there. Gives you an idea about what they've done. We've had some work going on at the lift station. We have, after we had the work done on Sunrise, emergency sewer repair, for the next 2 weeks, we had constant problems at lift station 3 because of all the junk that during the construction got pushed into the lift station. So I had the bottom of that lift station cleaned out twice now. It's not real cheap, but it's cheaper than paying for pumps. So, after we do work, that's normally what we have to do.
All right, any questions? All right, moving on. Item 7.2, the minutes. Ms. Do I have a motion to discuss?
I'll make a motion to approve.
I have a motion for Mr. Hoskins. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second. I assume you guys have had time to review the meeting. Any questions? All right, all those in favor of approving the minutes as is, say aye.
Aye.
And it passes unanimously. Moving on, item 7.3, ordinance 2024-6-01, budget amendment, emergency sewer repair. Do I have a motion? Have a motion from Ms. Ramos. Do I have a second? The second from Mr. Hoskins?
Yep.
All right, this is the budget that we talked about it last week, and you approved the spending, and last month now. Man, you approved the spending. This is the actual budget amendment that we need to do to keep in compliance. And so you'll see that the additional spending approved was $176,312.75. That's in addition to what we'd already approved for other things. So you can see we've spent about $500,000 this year, separate and apart from the bonds that we've repaired. And so that's why Mr. Harrison said that our unencumbered is gonna go down some. It's obviously not gonna be empty, but it will go down a couple $100,000, but that's what it's for. And these are, it was totally necessary, totally needed to be done. And got the best price we could and off we went. And as Mr. Harrison said, if you remember at the May 13th meeting, the total was actually about $208,000 for the incident. But the difference is routine, it goes accounting wise under maintenance because that was pumps to go around it. You recall all that's temporary stuff we had to do. That's not part of the capital. This is just the capital. And so that if we need to add funds to the maintenance at some point, we will, but right now we don't. Mr. Huckabee, anything?
Just glad we got it fixed.
Ms. Rollins?
Okay.
Mr. Reese?
No, I haven't.
Mr. Hoskins? No, sir. Mr. Bell? Okay. All those in favor of this budget amendment 2024-04? Say aye.
Aye.
And it passes unanimously. Moving on to item 7.4, resolution 2024-06-01, appointments to planning and zoning commission. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
I have a motion from Mr. McCown. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
I have a second from Ms. Ramos. Okay, we need to do our yearly resolution to, these guys are all currently on the committee. And as I hope you got my email, I sent it to everyone, saying if you had anyone else that you would prefer in their place, I didn't get any feedback, so I just nominated those again. So, but you can still, if at this point, amend it to change it if you have someone in mind that you would prefer. So. Planning and zoning, we got Noel L. Munoz, he's our newest member, he lives on Seagrove. Donnie Hill, of course, lives on North Country Club, and Kendall lives on Seagrove. Leo lives on Westview, and Cody lives on Seagrove. What the heck? Lots of Seagrove going on there.
Well, actually, Noah lives in Westview.
Noel lives on Westview, okay, at the end of Seagrove.
Well, yeah, close to the NFC road there. Well, so does Leo, you're about 10 hours.
He's our friendly community plumber, and he does a lot of work. So, any questions? All those in favor of this, say aye. Aye. And that passes unanimously. Moving on to item 7.5, resolution 2024-06-02. Appointments to the Board of Adjustments. Same thing. I emailed you guys asking if you wanted to change anything. I didn't receive anything, so I've nominated the current members of the board. Mr. Wells is Miramar. Mr. Goodman is West Forest. Ms. Ellis is Baywood. Robert Robertson is East Bio. And George is on Windleaf at the very end by the freeway. So that's a good spread around the city on that committee. And that's probably the most important committee we have because whatever they rule, you have no power over. Whatever they rule is what they rule. And then if the resident doesn't like what they rule, they have to go to district court and file a lawsuit. They can't come to council and ask you to overrule it. So that's a very important. And that's why when I nominated these gentlemen in the beginning and lady, they're all very sober, I should say, in their thinking. And they don't always do what I would want them to do, but that's okay. And that's just the way it goes. So any questions or comments? Mr. Bill? Okay, hearing none, we'll vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And that is approved unanimously. Item 7.6, resolution 2024-06-03, appointing a municipal court judge and alternate. Be resolved by the city of Shoreacres. City Council of the City of Shoreacres that the City Council hereby appoints Robert Richter, a citizen of the United States in this state, who is licensed to practice law in this state, to be the presiding judge of the municipal court of the City of Shoreacres, and that the City Council hereby appoints Sherry Glover, citizen of the United States in this state, and licensed to practice law in this state, to be the alternate judge of the municipal court of the City of Shoreacres, and that such appointments shall be for a term of 2 years, ending with the term of the office of mayor. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
I have a motion from Mr. Cowan. Do I have a second? I have a second from Mr. Hoskins. Again, every 2 years, in the mayoral election. we have to appoint someone. Mr. Richter has been doing it now for 3 years, since Judge Jay retired. And you have appointed him in the past, so you probably know him or at least have seen him. I did not have an alternate to put in his place. I know Troy likes working with him, so I didn't bother with that. And then Sherry has been the associate for 1 term now and 2 years. And she lives on East Country Club. And so she's a resident of the city, so that helps a lot when Troy has something he needs and Bob he lives in West U, I think, or somewhere over there. So that's, it's worked well. So I nominated basically the status quo. Any questions? Mr. Bell?
I can't think of anything.
Mr. Hoskins? Mr. Greason? Ms. Ramos?
No.
Ms.
No, sir.
McCown? All right, all those in favor say aye. And that is unanimous.
Mayor, can I make one comment about this? You may or may not realize this, but these are magistrates, so we go to those. If we have a juvenile or somebody that we had to give a magistrate's warning to, we can go to Sherry's house, Miss Glover's house. We can get her to come meet us. Also, if we make an arrest on a warrant or anything like that, or they go to court, we have to have an attorney, or we have to have a representative from our city go and read them their rights and everything at the jail. So they don't just come here on once a Thursday night. Sometimes they get called out to do other things too. They get compensated for it, but we've got 2 people that work with us really well right now, and I appreciate y'all supporting those guys.
All right. Moving on, item 7.7, a second regular meeting, the 4th Monday of June is the 24th. Does anyone see need to meet again? Ms. Goodwin?
No, sir.
Mr. Harrison?
No, sir.
Council? No. All right, that measure dies for lack of a motion. Item 8.0 adjournment. Do I have a motion to adjourn? Motion. Have a motion from Mr. McCown, a second from Mr. Hoskins. All those in favor of adjourning, say aye.
Aye.
And we are adjourned as of 6:52 PM. Thank you guys for coming out.
What is the, that's me. Shoreacres recommended.